Haribol, everyone. Śrīla Gurudev ki jai, Śrīla Param Gurudev ki jai, Śrīla Prabhupada ki jai, Śrī Rupa Anugogoriya Guru Varga ki jai, Śrī Akṣaya Tṛtīyā ki jai, Śrī Jagannath Devar Chandanyatra ki jai, the opening of the doors to Badri Narayan Temple ki jai, the anniversary day of the inauguration of Śrī Gaurivaranta Samiti in 1941. Ki Jai! Haribol, everybody. So just today, I made a plan to do a weekly and daily reading of Srila Vṛndāvana Das Thakur's Śrī Caitanya-bhāgavata. So at this time, 7:30 a.m. every Sunday, I'm going to read just the verses and translations of Śrī Caitanya-bhāgavata. And then in 2 months and 11 days from now, so that's July 3rd, which will be the beginning of Chaturmasya, the first day of Chaturmasya, I'm going to start over from the beginning again and read the commentary of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Goswami Prabhupada, his Gaudiya Bhashya commentary. So then, at that time, like after Chaturmasya begins, there'll be a weekly reading every Sunday where we'll just have a quick bird's eye view reading just the translations. And then the other 6 days of the week, so that's from Monday through Saturday, we'll slowly go through Srila Saraswati Thakur's Gaudiya Bhashya, his commentary. So I've been wanting to start Śrī Caitanya-bhāgavata for a very long time now. In fact, 2 or 3 years ago, around this same time, I even announced an idea to start a daily reading program in the evenings. But soon after I posted that, I saw an announcement that Kishore Mohan Prabhu had already made. That was, he was going to do a similar Śrī Caitanya-bhāgavata program. So I didn't start it then, and I'm glad I didn't, because yeah, that would have been too much. I was already doing a daily like in the morning time, I was doing the Śrīmad Bhagavatam readings, and then in the evening, so 2 readings a day is a little bit. I think I was trying to bite off more than I could chew. So, anyways, now after almost 3 years of reading Śrīmad Bhagavatam, we are nearing the end. I counted it up today. How many? We have about 26 days worth of 11 canto readings left. So yeah, 26 days worth of reading left, and in 25 days from now, 17 May, will be Srila Vṛndāvana Das Thakur's appearance day, which would have been a great day to start doing these Śrī Caitanya-bhāgavata readings, but we also have the 12th canto to read. So I decided to start the daily readings on the first day of Chaturmasya, which, yeah, as I said, is 2 months and 11 days from now, 3rd of July. Also, another thing, the first day of Chaturmasya also happens to be the day that we started our Śrīmad Bhagavatam readings. So I think it's quite appropriate that the day we begin Śrīmad Bhagavatam will also be the day that we begin Caitanya-bhāgavatam. So 7 days back, it was Srila Vṛndāvana Das Thakur's disappearance day. And on that day, I felt inspired to start recording Śrī Caitanya-bhāgavata. But I didn't actually have a clear plan of what I'd do. I just wanted to record it. So, and then I thought maybe I'll just upload them as I finish them, or I didn't really know what I was doing. But now I have a plan. So, anyways, we're gonna jump over to that recording that I made 7 days ago. And in that recording, I read the foreword by Bhumipati Prabhu, who is a very sweet, humble Bengali devotee. I once visited him at his house, and he just melted my heart. He's so sincere, and just a really nice Vaishnava. He's a disciple of Srila Prabhupada, and actually Srila Prabhupada gave him the order to translate these books, and so so we're gonna read. This is his translation. He's the translator of this, and he also translated the Gaudiya Bhashya commentary of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Goswami Prabhupada. And then after I finish reading that, then I will read a little bio about Srila Vṛndāvana Das Thakur by Srila Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada. So we'll jump over there now. Jai Shri Radhe, Hare Krishna. Shri Shri Guru Gaurango Jayataha. Hare Krishna, everybody. So on this very auspicious day of Srila Vṛndāvana Das Ṭhākura's disappearance day, I am commencing the Śrī Caitanya-bhāgavata. And every day, well, I'm going to record this not live, just normal recording, and I'll upload these at some point. We're going to be reading the commentary of Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Prabhupada, and translated by Bhumipati Prabhu. And yeah, so I'm going to just get right into it. But before we begin, I'll do Jai Dvani, and we can do a short Mangalacharan. So, Jai Shishi Guru Gauranga Gandharvika Giridhari Shishi Radha Vinod Bihari Juki Jai. Shri Govinda Gopinath Maran Mohan Juki Jai. Nityalila Pravishta Om Vishnupad Ashtutara Shata Shishimad Bhakti Vedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj Srila Gurudev Ki Jai. Nityalila Pravishta Om Vishnupad Ashtutara Shata Shishimad Bhakti Vedanta Vaman Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Nityalila Pravishta Om Vishnupad Ashtutara Shata Shishimad Bhakti Vedanta Swami Maharaj Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Nityalila Pravishta Om Vishnupad Ashtutara Shata Shishimad Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Nityalila Pravishta Om Vishnupad Ashtutara Shata Shishimad Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Prabhupada Ki Jai. Nityalila Pravishta Maha Bhagavat Srila Gaur Kishore Das Babaji Maharaj Ki Jai. Nityalila Pravishta Srila Satchidananda Bhakti Vinod Ṭhākura Ki Jai. Nityalila Pravishta Vaishnav Sarvabhauma Srila Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj Ki Jai. Shri Rupa Nugagorya Guru Varga Ki Jai. Srila Baladev Vijabhushan Prabhu Ki Jai. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Ṭhākura Ki Jai. Shri Narottam Srinivas Shamananda Prabhu Trai Ki Jai. Srila Krishna Das Kaviraj Goswami Pad Ki Jai. Srila Vṛndāvana Das Ṭhākura Ki Jai. Shri Rupa Sanatan Bhatta Raghunath Shri Jiva Gopal Bhatta Dashagunath Sharda Goswami Prabhu Ki Jai. Shri Swarup Damodar Rai Ramanandari Shri Gaur Parshad Vrinda Ki Jai. Namachaya Srila Haridas Ṭhākura Ki Jai. Prem se kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. Shri Kshetra Mandal Gaura Mandal Vraja Mandal Mathura Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai. Sarva Abhishta Pradata Giriraj Maharaj Ki Jai. Shri Radha Kund Shama Kund Ki Jai. Shri Yamuna Devi Ganga Devi Ki Jai. Shri Tulsi Maharani Vrinda Devi Ki Jai. Shri Bhakti Devi Ki Jai. Shri Purnamasi Yoga Maya Ki Jai. Shri Gopeshwar Mahadev Ki Jai. Śrī Caitanya-bhāgavata Ki Jai. Śrī Caitanya Caritamrta Ki Jai. Swaparshad Shri Gaur Hari Ki Jai. Swaparshad Shri Gaur Nityananda Prabhu Ki Jai. Srila Vṛndāvana Das Ṭhākura Ki Jai. Tvadiya Shubha Tirubhav Titi Ki Jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai. Samagata Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. Shri Nitai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bol. Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Namo Om Vishnu Padaya Radhikaya Priyatmane Shri Srimad Bhakti Vedanta Narayanitti Namine. Namo Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namine. Vanchakalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya evacha Patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Namo mahavadanyaya Krishna prema pradayate. Krishnaya Krishna Caitanya namne Gauratvishe namaha. Gurave Gaurachandraya Radhikaya Tadalaye. Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tadbhaktaya namo namaha. Maybe we can, together, we can sing the first verse. Let me just share my screen, 1 second. Okay. So let's go through the first verse together for the Mangala Charan. 1 second, just opening it up. And then you can sing this with me. Okay, here it is. Ajanulambita bhujo kanakavadato sankirtanai kapitaro kamalayataksho vishvambharo dijavaro yugadharma palo vande jagat priyakaro karunavataro. Bhaja Shri Krishna Caitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasari Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Rama Rama Hare Hare. We can pray to Vṛndadevi also. Bhaktya vihina aparada lakshay Kshiptashtakama ditaranga madhe Kripa mai tvam sharanam prapanna Vrinde namaste charana ravindam. Tavai vasmi na jivami tvaya vina iti vigyaya devi tvam nayamam charanantikam iti vigyaya radhe tvam nayamam charanantikam. Shri Krishna Caitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasari Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Alright, so we'll begin with reading the preface written by the translator and our editor. I don't know yet. This is the first time I'm reading this. I read it a long time ago when I was a lot younger, but it's been a very long time. So, all right. Let me. You can see the beautiful cover. Śrīla Vṛndāvana Das Thakur's Śrī Caitanya-bhāgavata Adi Khanda Part 1. Dedicated to His Divine Grace, Śrīla Bhakti Vedanta Swami Prabhupada. Foreword. Okay. It is with great satisfaction that we present this English edition of Śrīla Vṛndāvana Das Thakur's Śrī Caitanya-bhāgavata for the pleasure of the devotees. We pray that this presentation will be accepted as our sincere attempt to glorify the Supreme Lord, Śrī Caitanya Mahaprabhu. The descriptions found herein of the godless condition in society before Lord Chaitanya's advent remind us of life before coming into the association of the devotees in the ISKCON society. Such a condition of life is indeed deplorable. We know both through the scriptures and through personal experience that only the devotees' sincere glorification of the Supreme Lord can act as a remedial measure to counteract the godless conditions that are so prominent in the age of Kali. Throughout Srila Prabhupada's books, we are reminded again and again that topics of the Supreme Personality of Godhead are bhava oshadhi, the right medicine for the material disease. Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Ṭhākura used to say, "There is no scarcity of anything within this world. The only scarcity is of Krishna consciousness. Therefore, there is certainly no benefit to anyone if the preaching of Krishna consciousness is given up for social, political, or economic reasons." Srila Vṛndāvana Das Ṭhākura has divided this book into 3 parts: Adi Khanda, Madhya Khanda, and Antya Khanda. Although in the book he refers to the final part as the Shesh Khanda, we have followed the example of our founder Acharya, His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, by using the word Antya in referring to the Lord's final pastimes. This English translation of the first 8 chapters of the Adi Khanda is based on the first Śrī Caitanya-bhāgavata edition printed in 1987. We have made all efforts to present the purports of Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Ṭhākura in their complete form, and have only occasionally tried to clarify in comments within brackets or in footnotes. A number of devotees helped inspire us to undertake the translation of Śrī Caitanya-bhāgavata. We wish to thank them all, and we hope that this presentation meets with their satisfaction. At this point, we also wish to thank His Grace Rupa Raghunath for his help in proofreading, His Holiness Bhanuswami for translating some of the Sanskrit passages, Srimad Ananda Gopal Vedanta Tirtha Pandit for translating the balance of the Sanskrit passages, and His Grace Gopi Paranadhana Prabhu for his help in translating part of the introduction to the Gaudiya Bhashya. Then we offer with our special thanks to His Holiness Bhakti Vallabha Puri Maharaj for his kind donation toward the printing. In preparing this book, we have regularly consulted the other available English translations of Śrī Caitanya-bhāgavata, particularly that which was printed in Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Ṭhākura's Harmonist magazine, as well as those by Sarvabhavana and Kushakrata Prabhus. In closing, we wish to take the opportunity to humbly request the reader's blessing so that we may successfully present the balance of Śrī Caitanya-bhāgavata. Bhumipati Das and Pundarik Vidyanidhi Das, 11 September 2000. Wow, isn't that the day that the World Trade Center got? Anyways, like the very year and day. Appearance day of Srila Bhakti Vinod Thakur. Very interesting. Okay. And maybe we can read the life sketch of Srila Vṛndāvana Das Thakur also. And then I'll end this video after that. Hari Bol, this is Madhukar from a week later. I just wanted to mention, when I did this reading, I didn't realize at the time that the life sketch of Srila Vṛndāvana Das Thakur that I was going to read was written by Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Ṭhākura Prabhupada. I kind of figured it out in the middle of the reading because it was like his style, and then at the end, I saw his name. But yeah, so what I'm going to read is by Srila Prabhupada Saraswati Ṭhākura. Right. Life sketch of the author, Srila Vṛndāvana Das Thakur. There is an ancient village called Mamagachi, located under the Purvastali subdivision on the eastern side of the Burdwan district in West Bengal. According to older people, as well as the author of Bhakti Ratnakar, this village of Mamgachi is the area of Navadvip known as Moda Drumadvip. The Ganges River flows on the side of Mamagachi. Vṛndāvana Das Thakur's worshipable deities of Shri Shri Gaur Nitai are worshipped in this village even today. It is said that Vṛndāvana Das Thakur was born in this village. In this village, one can still find Vṛndāvana Das Thakur's house, where he grew up. The father of Malini Devi, Srivas Pandit's wife, lived in the village of Mamagachi. Srivas Pandit, the beloved devotee of Lord Gauranga, had a niece named Narayani Devi, who was married in this village. Malini Devi lived out her final days in this village at her father's house. Narayani Devi was married to a member of this family. Śrīla Vṛndāvana Das Ṭhākura was born from the womb of Narayani. Since Vṛndāvana Das Ṭhākura lost his father early in childhood, and his father left his body without being engaged in the service of Śrī Caitanya-bhāgavata, topics about his father are not mentioned anywhere. Some people say that because his father did not fully take shelter of the lotus feet of Lord Hari, Śrīla Vṛndāvana Das Ṭhākura was not identified by his paternal dynasty. Although the deities of Śrī Gaur Nitai installed by Śrīla Vṛndāvana Das Ṭhākura at the house of Malini Devi in Mamgachi have been shifted and are being served at another place, the service is not adequately prosperous and bright. Śrīla Vṛndāvana Das Ṭhākura spent a lot of time at Denduda. We have never heard of Śrīla Vṛndāvana Das Ṭhākura's married life. Among his 4 disciples, Sri Ram Hari, who hailed from a Kayastha family of North Radhadesh, was appointed by Vṛndāvana Das as the sole heir to the assets at Denduda. His descendants still live at the house of Śrīla Vṛndāvana Das Ṭhākura in Denduda and continue their service there. Although Ramahari was a pure devotee and was duly initiated, due to the prominence of smarta practices, his descendants were forced to give up their traditional spiritual practices and follow smarta principles. Although there is not much information about the paternal family of Śrīla Vṛndāvana Das Ṭhākura, it is understood that he appeared in a Brahmana family of Radhadesh. Since his maternal family members were staunch followers of Śrī Caitanya-Mahaprabhu and the greatest householder Vaishnavas, Śrīla Vṛndāvana Das Ṭhākura is known through this relation among the Vaishnavas and in Gaudiya literature. Thakur Mahashaya, the son of Narayani, had great knowledge of devotional scriptures and was always engaged in preaching the glories of the Vaishnavacharyas with his mind, body, and speech. The society of Smartas was envious of the Vaishnavas and envious of Sri Nityananda Prabhu. As such, they greatly disrespected Nityananda's servant, Sri Vṛndāvana Das Ṭhākura, and did not give him a very high position in their inimical to Vaishnav society. In fact, they did not even refrain from slandering his family background. Just before Sri Gaurasundar left Navadvip, Narayani Devi, the mother of Vṛndāvana Das, was only 4 years old. Up to that time, she had been nourished by Sri Chaitanya Chandra's affectionate glance. Later, she lived with her husband in the house of Malini's father, where she raised her jewel-like son, Vṛndāvana Das Ṭhākura, up to his 10th year. Under the influence of the Smartas, many less intelligent so-called Vaishnav Prakrit Sahajyas of Radhadesh considered that Vṛndāvana Das Ṭhākura was not a Brahmana. Actually, Vṛndāvana Das Ṭhākura was a genuine, pure, topmost Brahman who did not accept subordination to the materialistic Smarta community. Those who have studied Śrī Caitanya-bhāgavata composed by this great soul certainly know that Śrīla Vṛndāvana Das Ṭhākura was the topmost preacher of Śrī Caitanya Mahaprabhu's philosophy of pure devotional service. Yet, when Radharaman, the son of Madhusudan, the son of Balaram, the son of Sri Advaita Prabhu, lived in let me reread that. When Radharaman, the son of Madhusudan, who is the son of Balaram, who is the son of Sri Advaita Prabhu, lived at Shantipur and desired to oppose the teachings of Advaita Prabhu, he accepted subordination of Sri Harihar Bhattacharya's son, who lived at the Banda Ghat. And when Sri Virachandra Prabhu's 3 disciples, who are celebrated as his sons, were compelled by the intimidation of Smartas to place Durga, the wife of Tripurari, on the same throne next to Shyamasundar, and when the marriage between Ganga Thakurani and a member of the Virendra caste was included in the Gangopadhyaya caste, and thus socially approved in the Radhadesh, and when Nityananda Prabhu, who hailed from a Maithila Brahmana caste, married into the Sarakela caste of Baragachi, Radhadesh, and at the same time accepted Udharan Datta Ṭhākura as a properly initiated Brahman, all these unfavorable activities created various obstacles in Vṛndāvana Das Ṭhākura's propagation of the glories of the Vaishnava community. Sorry, I just want to look back at this very quickly. Okay, so when Radharaman, the son of who is a descendant of Śrī Advaita Prabhu, desired to oppose the teachings of Advaita Prabhu, that's one, and he accepted subordination to Harihar Bhattacharya's son. Okay, so that's one. When Virachandra Prabhu's 3 disciples were compelled by the intimidation of Smartas to place Durga on the same throne next to Shamsundar, so that's 2, right? And 3, when there's a marriage between Ganga Thakurani, isn't that Nityananda Prabhu's daughter, and a member of the Virendra class? And when Nityananda Prabhu married the Sarkela caste of Varagachi Radhadesh, and at the same time accepted Udharan Datta Ṭhākura as a properly initiated Brahman, so all these unfavorable activities created various obstacles in Vṛndāvana Das Ṭhākura's propagation of the glories of the Vaishnava community. Interesting. Still, they were not able to stop the foremost devotee of Gaur, for whom Nityananda was his life and soul, the brilliant sun-like personality of Gaudiya literature, Śrī Vṛndāvana Das Ṭhākura, from writing the truth in Śrī Caitanya-bhāgavata. Those who have studied Śrī Caitanya-bhāgavata with full attention cannot be misguided from Śrīla Vṛndāvana Das Ṭhākura's presentation of the truth, which destroys all illusion. Wonderful social reconciliations of the conclusions of devotional service are written in golden words by Vṛndāvana Das Ṭhākura in various places throughout Caitanya-bhāgavata. His service attitude towards his spiritual master, Śrī Nityananda Prabhu, is incomparable. No scholar of that time, in Navadvip, Gauda Desh, Bharatvarsh, or the world, could stand before him. Later on, however, there was no hesitation in attacking him and his family. There is no scarcity of ill-motivated people ready to attack the good qualities of Ṭhākura Mahashaya. Some such envious persons said that Vṛndāvana Das Ṭhākura and his followers exhibited a great deal of negligence towards the non-devotees and were thus unable to attract less intelligent people to the banner of Torora api suhishuna and Tarnar api sunichena, taught by Lord Chaitanya. In answer to this, the followers of Śrī Vṛndāvana Das Ṭhākura reply that it is very unfortunate that in the course of such criticism, these people maintain an inimical mentality, which is averse to the process of devotional service, and cheat others by sitting on the back of morality in the dress of writers. Only due to a lack of piety does one dare to disregard the Guru and the Vaishnavas in this way. The imprudent synthesizers, who, with their opposing principles, attempt to unite the universally beneficial principles of love of God, put forward many unreasonable arguments that are most fallacious and born of envy. Śrī Vṛndāvana Das Ṭhākura was fully enlightened in the service of Lord Nityananda, his spiritual master, with his body, mind, and speech. Therefore, Śrī Caitanya Chandra did not give authority to such writers and foolish moralists to find fault with the activities of Śrī Vṛndāvana Das Ṭhākura. Only when these fault-finders abstain from their dancing induced by the 6 material senses will they understand Śrīla Vṛndāvana Das Ṭhākura as the spiritual master of the Gaudiya Vaishnavas and repent for their offenses at his feet. The language of Śrī Caitanya-bhāgavata is very simple and touches the heart. Those who are fond of the beauty of Gaudiya literature can experience extraordinary pleasure on seeing the proficiency that Ṭhākura Mahashaya has displayed while describing the characteristics of Haridas Ṭhākura, while describing the social condition of Navadvip during Gauranga's time, while describing the literacy status of the Bhogipalas, Yogipalas, and Mahipalas, the leaders of the sense enjoyers, yogis, and the earth, while describing the Brahmanas' occasional chanting of Pundarikaksha, and while depicting Sri Gaurasundar's glories and opulences. Those who wish to enter the temple of this book will also receive, apart from descriptions of the enjoying spirit of Navadip's residents, the opportunity to experience the literary variegatedness of Vaikuntha. The Gaudiyas are not only residents of Gauda, but by the help of Gaudiya language, they became expert in the language of the eternally liberated inhabitants of Goloka, and thus understand themselves as associates of the Lord. We are ending this presentation by quoting the Śrī Caitanya Caritamrta verses of Śrīla Kaviraj Goswami, our previous guru, regarding Śrīla Vṛndāvana Das Ṭhākura. This is from Adi Lila, chapter 8. Ore mur loka shuno Caitanya mangal, Caitanya mahima jate janibe sakal. O fools, just read Śrī Caitanya-mangal, later known as Śrī Caitanya-bhāgavata. Just read Śrī Caitanya-mangal. By reading this book, you can understand all the glories of Śrī Caitanya Mahaprabhu. Krishna Lila Bhagavate Kohe Veda Vyas, Caitanya Lila Vyas Vṛndāvana Das. As Vyasadeva has compiled all the pastimes of Lord Krishna in Srimad Bhagavatam, Ṭhākura Vṛndāvana Das has depicted the pastimes of Lord Chaitanya. Vṛndāvana dāsa koilo Caitanya mangal, Jahara shravane nashe sarva amangal. Ṭhākura Vṛndāvana Das has composed Śrī Caitanya Mangal. Hearing this book annihilates all misfortune. Caitanya nitar jate janiye mahima, Jate jani Krishna bhakti siddhanter sima. By reading Śrī Caitanya Mangal, one can understand all the glories and truths of Lord Śrī Caitanya and Lord Nityananda, and come to the ultimate conclusion of devotional service to Lord Krishna. Bhagavate jato bhakti siddhante rasar, Lekhiyachen iha jani Gauriya udhar. In Śrī Caitanya Mangal, Śrīla Vṛndāvana Das Ṭhākura has given the conclusion and essence of devotional service by quoting the authoritative statements of Srimad Bhagavatam. Caitanya Mangala shune jadi pashandi yavan, Seho Mahavaishnava hoy. Seho Mahavaishnava hoy Tatokon. Sorry about that. Even if a great atheist hears Śrī Caitanya Mangal, he immediately becomes a great devotee. Manushe rachite nare aiche granta dhanya, Vṛndāvana dāsa mukhe vakta Śrī Caitanya. The subject matter of this book is so sublime that it appears that Śrī Caitanya Mahaprabhu has personally spoken through the writings of Śrīla Vṛndāvana Das Ṭhākura. Vṛndāvana dasa pade koti namaskar, aiche granta kori teho tarila sansar. I offer millions of obeisances unto the lotus feet of Vṛndāvana Das Ṭhākura. No one else could write such a wonderful book for the deliverance of all fallen souls. Narayani Chaitanyara Ujishta Bhajan, Tar Garbe Janmila Shri Dasa Vṛndāvana. Narayani eternally eats the remnants of the food of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Śrīla Vṛndāvana Das Ṭhākura was born of her womb. Tar ki arbhuta Caitanya Charita Varnan, Jahara Shravane Shuddha Koilo Tribhuvan. What a wonderful description he has given of the pastimes of Lord Chaitanya. Anyone in the three worlds who hears it is purified. Vṛndāvana dāsa koilo Caitanya mangal, Tahate Caitanya lila varnilo sakal. Srila Vṛndāvana Das Ṭhākura has written Śrī Caitanya-Mangal, and therein described in all respects the pastimes of Lord Chaitanya. Sutra kori sabalila korilo grantan, pache vistariya tahar koilo vivaran. He first summarized all the pastimes of the Lord, and later described them vividly in detail. Vistara dekhiya kichu sankocha hoilo man, sutra dhrita kona lila na koilo varnan. He saw them to be so extensive that he later felt that some had not been properly described. Nityananda lila varnane hoilo avesh, Chaitanya rashesha lila rohilo avashesh. He ecstatically described the pastimes of Lord Nityananda, but the later pastimes of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu remained untold. Vṛndāvana dasir pada parma kori dhyana, tar agya loya likhi jahate kalyana. I took permission from Srila Vṛndāvana Das Ṭhākura by praying at his lotus feet, and upon receiving his order, I have attempted to write this auspicious scripture. Caitanya lila te vyasa Vṛndāvana das, Caitanya lila te vyasa Vṛndāvana das, tar kripa bina anye na hoy prakash. Srila Vṛndāvana Das Ṭhākura is the authorized writer on the pastimes of Lord Chaitanya. Without his mercy, therefore, one cannot describe these pastimes. From Adi Lila, chapter 11. Vṛndāvana dāsa Narayana Nandan, Caitanya Mangala Jeho Korilo Rachan. Vṛndāvana Das Ṭhākura, the son of Srimati Narayani, composed Śrī Caitanya-Mangal. Bhāgavate Krishna Lila Varnila Vedavyas, Caitanya Lila Te Vyas Vṛndāvana Das. Śrīla Vyasadeva describes the pastimes of Krishna in Śrīmad Bhagavatam. The Vyas of the pastimes of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was Vṛndāvana Das. That's a nice one. Maybe I'll save this one. We can recite this when I begin. Okay, sorry. From Adi Lila, chapter 13. Caitanya Lila Ravyas Dasa Vṛndāvana, Madhura Koriya Lila Korila Rachan. Srila Vṛndāvana Das Ṭhākura, the authorized writer of the pastimes of Śrī Caitanya Mahaprabhu, is as good as Śrīla Vyasadeva. He has described the pastimes in such a way as to make them sweeter and sweeter. From Madhya Lila, chapter 1. Caitanya Lila Vyasa Dasa Vṛndāvana, tar agyai koro tar uchishta charvan. Actually, the authorized compiler of the pastimes of Śrī Caitanya Mahaprabhu is Srila Vṛndāvana Das Ṭhākura, the incarnation of Vyasadeva. Only upon his orders am I trying to chew the remnants of food that he has left. Bhakti kori shire dhori tahara charan, shesha lilar sutra gana koriye varnan. Placing his lotus feet upon my head in great devotion, I shall now describe in summary the Lord's final pastimes. From Madhya Lila, chapter 4. Sahaje vichitra madhur Caitanya vihar, Vṛndāvana dasa mukhe amritera dhar. By nature, all the activities of Śrī Caitanya Mahaprabhu are very wonderful and sweet, and when they are described by Vṛndāvana Das Ṭhākura, they become like a shower of nectar. E sab lila prabhur dasa Vṛndāvan, Vistari koriyachena uttama varnan. All these pastimes have been very elaborately explained by Vṛndāvana Das Ṭhākura in his book Caitanya-bhāgavata. Ataeva taha varnile hoy punarukti dambha kori varni jadi taiche nahi shakti. Therefore, I very humbly submit that since these incidents have already been nicely described by Vṛndāvana Das Ṭhākura, I would be very proud to repeat the same thing, and this would not be very good. I do not have such powers. Caitanya mangale jaha korilo varnan, sutra rupe Śrīla koriye suchan. I am therefore presenting only a synopsis of those events already described elaborately by Vṛndāvana Das Ṭhākura in his Caitanya Mangal. Tar sutre achete hona koilo varnan, jatha katanchit kori Śrīla kathan. Some of the incidents he did not describe elaborately, but only summarized, and these I shall try to describe in this book. Ataeva tar paye kori namaskar, tar paye aparadha na hok amar. I thus offer my respectful obeisances unto the lotus feet of Vṛndāvana Das Ṭhākura. I hope that I will not offend his lotus feet by this action. From Antyalila, chapter 20. Vṛndāvana dāsa pratam je lila varnilo, she saba lilar ami sutra matra koilo. Whatever pastimes Śrīla Vṛndāvana Das Ṭhākura has first described, I have merely summarized. Tar tyakta avashesha sangshepe kohilo, lilar bahulye granta tathapi barilo. I have only very briefly described the pastimes of Śrī Caitanya Mahaprabhu not described by Vṛndāvana Das Ṭhākura. Nevertheless, because those transcendental pastimes are so numerous, the size of this book has increased. Nityananda Kripa Patra Vṛndāvana Das Caitanya Lilaya Teho Hoin Adi Vyas. Vṛndāvana Das Ṭhākura is Lord Nityananda's favorite devotee, and therefore he is the original Vyasadeva in describing the pastimes of Śrī Caitanya Mahaprabhu. Tar age jadyapi sab lilar bhandhar, tathapi alpa varniya chari lena ar. Although Vṛndāvana Das Ṭhākura has within his jurisdiction the full store of Śrī Caitanya Mahaprabhu's pastimes, he has left aside most of them and described but a small portion. Je kichu varnilo seho sangshepe koriya, likhite na paren tabu rakhiyachen likhiya. What I have described was left aside by Vṛndāvana Das Ṭhākura. But although he could not describe these pastimes, he gave us a synopsis. Caitanya mangale teho likhiyache stane stane, se vachana shuno se parama pramane. In his book named Caitanya Mangal, he describes these pastimes in many places. I request my readers to hear that book, for that is the best evidence. Sangshepe kohilo vistar na jai kathane, vistariya veda vyasa koribo varnane. I have described the pastimes very briefly, for it is impossible for me to describe them in full. In the future, however, Veda Vyas will describe them elaborately. Caitanya mangale iha likhiyache stane stane, satya kohen age vyasa koribo varnane. In Caitanya Mangal, Śrīla Vṛndāvana Das Ṭhākura has stated in many places the factual truth that in the future, Vyasadeva will describe them elaborately. Caitanya Lilamrita Sindhu Dugdhabdi Samana Trishnanurupa Jhari Bhari Teho Koila Pana. The ocean of nectarian pastimes of Śrī Caitanya-Mahaprabhu is like the ocean of milk. According to his thirst, Vṛndāvana Das Ṭhākura filled his pitcher and drank from that ocean. Tar jhari sheshamrita kichu more dila tate ke bhorilo pet trishna mora gela. Whatever remnants of milk Vṛndāvana Das Ṭhākura has given me are sufficient to fill my belly. Now my thirst is completely satiated. Akinchana, Śrī Siddhanta Saraswati. Jai Śrīla Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Prabhupada Ki Jai. All right, so I'll end here for now, and in the next reading we will read the introduction to the Gaudiya Bhashya by Śrīla Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Prabhupada. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasari Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasari Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Jai Shri Rupa Sanatana Bhatta Raghunath Shri Jiva Gopala Bhatta Dāsa Raghunath. Jai Shri Rupa Sanatana Bhatta Raghunath Shri Jiva Gopala Bhatta Dāsa Raghunath. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Rama Rama Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Gaur Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol Nitai Gaur Hari Bol Nitai Gaur Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol. Jai Shri Guru Gauranga Gandharvika Giridhari Shri Radha Vinod Bihari Ju Ki Jai. Shri Govinda Gopinath Maran Mohan Ju Ki Jai. Nitya Lila Pravishta Om Vishnupad Ashtatara Shata Shishimar Bhakti Vedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj Shila Guru Deva Ki Jai. Nitya Lila Pravishta Om Vishnupad Ashtatara Shata Shishimar Bhakti Vedanta Vaman Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Nitya Lila Pravishta Om Vishnupad Ashtatara Shata Shishimar Shila Bhakti Vedanta Swami Maharaj Shila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Nitya Lila Pravishta Om Vishnupad Ashtatara Shata Shishimar Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Nitya Lila Pravishta Om Vishnupad Ashtatara Shata Shishimar Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Prabhupada Ki Jai. Nitya Lila Pravishta Maha-Bhagavat Shila Gaur Kishore Das Babaji Maharaj Ki Jai. Nitya Lila Pravishta Shila Satchidananda Bhakti Vinod Ṭhākura Ki Jai. Nitya Lila Pravishta Vaishnav Sarvabhauma Shila Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj Ki Jai. Shri Rupa Anuga Gauriya Guru Varga Ki Jai. Shri Rupa Sanatan Bhatta Raghunath Shri Jiva Gopala Bhatta Das Raghunath Shara Goswami Prabhu Ki Jai. Let me start over. Srila Baladevi Jibhushan Prabhu Ki Jai. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur Ki Jai. Shri Nartam Srinivas Ramananda Bhuchai Ki Jai. Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami Pad Ki Jai. Srila Vṛndāvana Das Ṭhākura Ki Jai. Shri Rup Sanatan Bhatta Raghunath Shri Jiva Gopala Bhatta Das Raghunath Shara Goswami Prabhu Ki Jai. Shri Sarup Damodar Rai Ramanandari Shri Gaur Parshad Vrinda Ki Jai. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai. Prem se kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Shri Kshetra Mandala, Gaura Mandala, Vraja Mandala, Mathura Vṛndāvana Dham ki jai. Sarva Abhishta Pradata Giriraj Maharaj ki jai. Shri Radha Kunda Shama Kundi Munaganga Tulsi Bhakti Devi ki jai. Shri Harinam Sankirtan ki jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai. Śrīla Vṛndāvana Das Ṭhākura ki jai. Tadiya Shubha Tirabhav Titi ki jai. Śrī Caitanya-bhāgavata ki jai. Śrī Caitanya Caritamrta ki jai. Swaparshad Shri Gaura Nityananda Prabhu ki jai. Harinam Sankirtan ki jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai. Samagata Gaura Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Shri Nitai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bo. Vrindaya Tulsi Devaya Priyaya Keshavashacha Krishna Bhakti Pradadevi Sattvatāya Namo Namaha Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Vacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Dandavat Pranams, dear devotees. So I will see you in the next video whenever I get a chance to make that. And yeah, I'm still working out how I'm going to do this. What I'm thinking right now is I'd like, while I'm reading, to make notes, like I made notes in here before, just so that I can get a brief synopsis of the chapter, and then maybe we can recap every chapter, the main points afterwards. I mean, at the beginning of each reading. But I don't know, because that's a lot more work. That would be more work, and I'm already kind of maxed out. But anyhow, we'll see how it goes. But thank you so much for joining me in this reading, and I'll see you in the next one. Jai Shri Radhe. Haribol.